We have a range of concerns about the growth of a surveillance society. We are something of a world leader in the extent to which data is kept about individuals, the extent to which they're looked at through different electronic means, and with really no significant controls over those devices. You've touched upon one in terms of powers now granted to local authorities for covert surveillance, some of which is undertaken for purposes which are fairly minor, but there's a range of other activities as well through the use of CCTV cameras, through retention of DNA on the DNA database, all of them unregulated by any clear statutory framework.
And yet CCTV can capture crimes, DNA databases can trace criminals years after the event, and presumably the whole thing about the schools, the right kids go to the right school. So in a way, what's the problem?
There's a problem in terms of the invasion of privacy and going beyond what's necessary for the use of the material that's kept. So some surveillance is clearly necessary for national security purposes, tracking down serious crime. Our concern is when it goes way beyond that and there's no regulation, so people might have their privacy invaded without any real justification. There are no clear limits that are set by statute. So what we're concerned is to make sure that there is a proportionality in the use of surveillance. We don't think there is at the moment. It's going too far in invading the privacy to which we think the individual is entitled.
And then you talk about regulation. What more regulation would you like to see?
Well, if we take CCTV, for example, about 4 million cameras in this country, there is no statutory framework in terms of not just citing, but the use to which they can be put. We'd like to see some regulatory framework, some code of practice that could be legally enforceable. Same with the DNA database. We want the rules drawn together in a single act. We want government itself to be limited to engage in privacy impact assessments when it wants to extend surveillance. There's a whole range of things we think could be done and should be done in order to ensure that when surveillance is used, it's only used for purposes that are clearly necessary.